Hello and welcome to Tomorrow is Yesterday, the Star Trek podcast, the show where we review every episode of Star Trek in production order. My name is Brandon Couch, and as always with me is my co-host,
David Moss.
And today we're going to be talking about the Corbomite Maneuver. But before we get into that, there's something that occurred to me as I was editing our last podcast. So, last week we started the red shirt death count, and we decided that Lieutenant Kelso was the first red shirt death. But then it occurred to me, Gary Mitchell was also operations and he died. Does he get added to the red shirt death count? Does he count as a red shirt death?
Yes, he does.
Alright, and with that out of the way, let's talk about this week's episode. And by the way, I wanted to mention, we're doing this in production order, not release order. So if you're watching on like Paramount or wherever you stream, if you're noticing that like the episodes we're doing are out of order, that's why.
I think he has to say that for me, because he got a text earlier and said, hey, we're doing episode 10? Way before episode 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9?
Yeah, I did have to explain that to David, too. So let's get into this episode. You can't do head nods, David. It's a podcast.
What do you... Oh, what am I supposed to say?
I don't know. I just wanted you to say something.
Something. I didn't know if you were going to go on or what.
So this week we're talking about the Corbomite Maneuver, which aired on November 10th, 1966, was directed by Joseph Sargent, written by Jerry Soule, and was nominated for a Hugo Award in 1967 for Best Dramatic Presentation.
So what's a Hugo Award?
It's an award that TV shows get, I guess.
Okay, because I was curious about that. I've never even heard of a Hugo Award. I didn't know if they just paid someone named Hugo to just give him an award or what.
Nope, it's an award. I didn't do any research on the award, but it's an award.
I kind of just threw that at you, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
So I think this episode is kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that I didn't like it, but it's not one of my favorites either. Though a lot of people disagree with me, because it is voted like one of the top 10 best episodes of the series. Star Trek
I get that.
Series. And I think it's like top 50 in all of Star Trek.
Really?
Yeah. According to online.
The internet. You can believe everything you read on the internet.
Yes. And there's plenty of single women in my area.
I don't know what to say to that. All right. But yeah, you can believe everything you hear on the internet. Trust us, we're on the internet.
Are we?
This is a podcast, so yes.
Okay.
So let's get into the cast of this episode. Alright, so aside from our main cast, we have Anthony Call as Lieutenant Bailey, and as I like to do, I look up the most recent thing they did. So Anthony Call was most recently... He narrated 8 episodes of the show Shock Docs. No, I don't know what that is. We got Clint Howard as Balok, who most recently played Eustace in the 2023 film The Old Way. Clint Howard, I realized while doing this research, is one of those guys who is in everything. I've seen him in like a bajillion movies. You just can't recognize him in this because he's a child.
Huh. I know it. Yeah, okay. Who else do we have?
Alright, we have Walker Edmondson as the voice of Balok, because they dubbed over the kid's voice, whose last role was in the 2006 animated film Toot and Puddle, I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Toot and Puddle? I've never heard of that.
Me neither. I haven't heard of a lot of these things. Then we have Ted Cassidy as Balok's puppet voice, like he was the deep voice throughout the episode, whose last role was the voice of Thun in the 1982 TV movie Flash Gordon, The Greatest Adventure of All.
So talking about Flash Gordon, I had just watched Ted like yesterday, and Flash Gordon was actually in there, the guy who plays him.
Oh?
And it was a big... Have you not seen the movie?
I have never seen Ted.
You've never seen Ted? This is
No.
like the 5th time I've seen it. But Flash Gordon plays a big role in the movie. And it's hilarious. You need to watch it.
Okay. I'll watch it sometime. So that's our guest cast. And then we have DeForest Kelley as Dr. McCoy, whose last role was voicing Viking number 1 in the 1998 film The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars.
So to let people know, I'm a 90s baby, but I've never seen that movie.
I've never seen that movie either. I know the Brave Little Toaster as like an ad in front of one of the VHS tapes I have as a kid. I don't know which one, but I always saw a commercial for Brave Little Toaster when I put one VHS tape in.
I think it's Aladdin.
It might
I
be
don't know.
Aladdin. I had Aladdin.
Because I remember seeing that all the time too.
We also have the first appearance of Grace Lee Whitney as Yeoman Rand, whose last role was in the 2007 fan film Star Trek of Gods and Men, where she played Janice Rand.
Uh,
And then rounding out our cast, we have Nichelle Nichols as Lieutenant Uhura, whose last appearance was in an episode of 12 to Midnight.
Never heard of that either.
Me neither.
Is this the first episode that she's in?
Yeah, that's why I bring her up in the cast.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because I don't remember seeing her until now.
Yeah, this is the first time we get McCoy, Uhura, and Rand.
Okay. Which, like, I like her. She's a good character.
Uhura?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like her in both, like, original series and Strange Worlds.
What about the movies?
The movies, she's pretty good.
Yeah.
No, wait. Hold on. Are you talking the actual original movies, or are you talking...
I'm talking the 2009
new...
movies, the alternate timeline movies.
Yeah, I don't like her in those.
Oh, really?
She's a straight up B in those. Don't deny it. You know it's true.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that, but, like, I don't know if I have a strong argument against that. We'll get there in, like, 10 years.
The only thing I wish... Because I wish that she would know a few more languages. Kind of like Hoshi on Enterprise.
I feel like she knows a bunch of languages. I feel like she knows more languages than original series Uhura does.
Yes, like I'm talking about original series now. Like,
Oh.
yeah, I'm not talking about the movies or.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, Strange Worlds that just puts the character over the line though. Like,
yeah, she's really good in Strange New Worlds.
Perfect.
So you ready to get into this episode?
Always.
We open with the Enterprise flying through space, so we zoom in on the ship and cut to the bridge. And once inside, we see new uniforms. Yes, we finally made it to those classic Starfleet uniforms with the primary colors, and I can actually tell what everyone's rank is. Spock is a commander, Sulu's a lieutenant. It's nice to know these things.
So, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of dumb on original series. How do you tell the rank?
So there's stripes around, like, their wrist on the sleeves.
Okay.
It's like Kirk has 2 solid stripes and like a broken stripe in between them, and that's Captain. Spock has 2 solid stripes. Scotty has a solid stripe and a broken stripe. So does McCoy, because they're lieutenant commanders. Sulu has 1 solid stripe. So does Uhura. And we don't have any like main characters with this, but 1 broken stripe is a lieutenant junior grade, and no stripes are ensign or below that, like crewman or whatever.
You know what drives me insane is their emblem, the Starfleet emblem, is not the same for each station and shit. Have you noticed that the further we go into the series, you'll notice that.
Yeah, they had different like patches for different ships, but eventually they made it just where the one on the main show is like for all of Starfleet. Eventually they standardized that, so it's just 1 logo for everything.
I think it has to be season 2 that happens too.
Well, yeah, later. Probably season 2. Season 2 is where like things really started to mesh with the show and things were better and consistent.
Okay.
And then season 3 was a mess because new people took over and a lot of the old people quit.
Yeah, I get that.
Alright, let's get back into the scene. So the first thing I noticed about the scene was Spock. He had this like loud kind of odd cadence to his voice, but only when he was giving orders to the crew. I think Leonard Nimoy is still trying to figure out how he wants to play Spock.
Right. I kind of get that.
Yeah. And then we get this cool shot from above. It starts on Spock, and then it zooms out, and we get kind of a bird's eye view of the bridge, and then it zooms back into Bailey's console, and we see him hit a button. I'm just saying, it was a cool shot. And we find out that they're mapping out this star system, and we meet possibly the worst officer in the history of Star Trek, Bailey. I hate Bailey so much.
Oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah. So Bailey starts complaining to Spock because they're 3 days into this mapping assignment and he wants an out. He says, surely someone must have mapped this already, and Spock points out that no ship has ever been out this far. No one's mapped it.
I mean, obviously someone had to have mapped it, or they wouldn't know. No one was out. I don't know. I'm just trying to give Bailey some logic there.
Nope, they're the first ones. They're mapping it. An alarm starts beeping on Sulu's console because everyone's favorite astro scientist, Sulu, is all of a sudden a helmsman now.
Dude, I'm glad Sulu's at the helm. Sorry.
Yeah, that's where he belongs.
Yeah.
It's really funny if you watch it in release order, because in release order, the last episode we did where No Man Has Gone Before was episode 3, so you'd get like 2 episodes, or episode 4, so you get 3 episodes where he's a helmsman, 1 episode where he's a scientist, and then he's a helmsman again in episode 5.
Yeah.
And that's why we do this in production order. It makes more sense.
It does make more sense.
So yeah. So there's an object at light speed on a collision course for the ship. Naturally, they tried deflectors that still have not deflected a single thing in all the episodes we've watched so far. Have not deflected a single thing they've tried to deflect.
Yep, they act like it will. Every single time.
The deflectors are just there to be like, our deflectors aren't working.
Deflectors are down, huh?
Because I swear in every episode they've tried this. The Cage, where No Man Has Gone Before. This one, like...
Even in the old, like, the newer Star Treks, they're like, the deflectors are down. The deflector array's down. Like, what does it even do? Deflects? Apparently not that well.
It's like the power levels in Dragon Ball Z. It's only there so they can be like, it's over 9,000. He's so powerful. And I don't even watch Dragon Ball.
I was gonna say, I don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z.
I know pretty much that.
I know that there's some Dragon Balls and a guy named Goku.
I also know that.
Let's see, and there's a dragon and a green dude with antennas.
I have some friends who would be so mad about hearing me say this about Dragon Ball. Alright, and evasive maneuvers just result in the object changing course to match. So we got this object coming at us, and it's changing to keep coming at us.
Can we talk about how they made it change course? Like, how they made the object follow it? It was like, okay, we're going to change course, and then they take it off the view screen, and then it slowly
comes back into the view screen.
Actually, now that we're talking about this object, what does that remind you of?
Oh, it's in my notes. It's totally a screensaver from the 90s.
Yes. The one that turns from like a cube to a ball to like pointy things back to a cube.
It looks so much like that screensaver.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they made the screensaver because of
based on this cube.
Yes. And then when they were like, it's a cube, I was like, it's a Borg cube.
It's a Borg cube. These are early Borg.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, Borg.
That's great.
Yeah. Little did I know.
Balok was just a child Borg.
Yes. He was terrible at assimilating.
He was terrible at assimilating. It was just him.
Yeah.
We should write a story about that. How Balok was assimilated by the Borg, and that's why they have cube-shaped ships.
We're going to start fan fiction.
And this is where we first meet Uhura, who's not wearing her classic red in this episode. Uhura looks good in gold.
Yes, she does. She looks amazing in gold. But I will give you the fact that I've been staring at a picture of her in the red uniform for the last hour. She does look better in red.
She does also look good in red.
So that everybody knows that I'm not just staring at a picture of Uhura. I have a Star Trek poster in our room here.
It's the whole cast. It's not just Uhura. Yes. Uhura is like blocked by Spock's head because it was the 60s.
The 3 white guys are in the front.
Yep. And then there's 2 more white guys in the back.
But they're not Americans.
Technically, one of them is an American playing a Scotsman.
Yeah, I know. But 60s.
It was the 60s.
Talk about slave trading and...
Green woman slave trading.
Yeah.
We're going to need to turn that into a t-shirt. That's probably going to become a running bit. Star Trek slave trading.
That we would get
we would get in so
canceled
much trouble
so fast.
All right, where was I? Uhura looks good in gold. Uhura's not getting a signal from the thing. Spock's ready to sound the alarm, but the object slows down and they stop the ship. So now we can see the object. We get this music playing in the background. I like the music playing in the background when they show the cube.
Yeah. I faintly remember it.
Me too, but obviously I liked it because I wrote it in my notes at the time.
So are we going to have the music playing in the background for this part of the podcast?
I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but I can do that.
Okay, everybody. Remember, everybody who's listening, if there is no music playing now... then Brandon really messed up.
Alright, they try to go around it. The object leaves the view screen, and then it slowly comes back into the view screen. The 60s were great. Not that I was alive then.
Yeah, my mom was 1 year old.
Dang.
A year old.
I don't even know how old my dad would have been.
And my dad was 6.
I don't even know if my dad was alive. He might have been. I don't know. My dad's old.
Yeah, my dad was the age of my son now.
So your mom was like about the age of my daughter now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, back to the scene. Bailey freaks out and Spock says, "Quite unnecessary to raise your voice, Mr. Bailey."
Bailey is a pansy in this.
He is.
Like, I don't know. How did he survive Starfleet Academy? How did he survive everything up to this point? Because is the Enterprise the flagship in the original series?
I don't know if it's the flagship.
Okay. Because I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in most Star Trek fan canon, it's like the Enterprise became the flagship because of all the cool stuff that Kirk did.
Okay.
So yeah, they don't like treat it like it's the flagship in this one.
Yeah.
But it might be because they are going farther than any ship has ever gone out, apparently.
Yeah.
So it might be, or it might not. Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm sure someone knows.
Probably a writer.
If any of the writers are still alive.
Dead.
So Spock sounds the alert and Sulu calls Captain Kirk to the bridge. And that's our teaser. Which leads us to that iconic opening.
Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
So while this episode was the first one that they made after the pilot, it was actually the 10th to air because the special effects of the episode took months to finish. And this episode was also the first episode to have Kirk's Space, the Final Frontier monologue after the teaser. So it was the 10th episode, so the first 9 didn't have that. This was the first one that had that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Did I blow your mind?
A little bit. I didn't even pay attention to the last episode. I'll be honest, I probably hit skip credits or skip intro.
I'm not sure if that one had an intro. It might have had an intro. I don't remember because it was the pilot.
I might have hit skip intro in this one too. At least it's not as bad as the Enterprise intro.
Enterprise gets a bad rap, man.
There's a long road getting from here to there. Yeah.
That's not a bad song. That song's been on my phone for years.
No.
Enterprise gets a bad rap, man.
I mean, the show's good, but that song...
There's nothing wrong with that intro. Would it have been nice to get a Space the Final Frontier from Captain Archer? Yes, but like...
Okay, the intro is okay. But think about going into an episode that's like, okay, when the Xindi attacked, and they're like at the weapon, and it's part 2, and all you hear is, "It's been a long road," and then it's explosions, and like there is no good transition there.
It is a good song. It's a good intro.
No, it's a terrible intro. It's almost as bad as Voyager's.
Voyager has a great intro. Jerry Goldsmith score and like those beautiful visuals. Voyager has like one of the best intros of the 90s Star Trek series.
Yes, but it's almost as long as an episode.
That's just because they had a large, diverse cast.
Like, they could... I think they should have at least done what Deep Space Nine did.
What did Deep Space Nine do that was different?
So every episode, there'd be a slight difference in the... Or at least every season. Like, you'd see people repairing the station, shuttlecrafts leaving... You'd see people doing spacewalks. You'd see, like, the Enterprise docked up there. Bird of Prey down here. The Defiant there. The Defiant over here.
I'm going to have to pay more attention the next time I watch Deep Space Nine. I never noticed most of the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, like, it changes.
But, like, you can do that on a space station. There's not much different you can do on a spaceship.
But, I mean, Voyager was traveling through the Delta Quadrant. They could have changed what they...
You also got to remember, in the 90s, Star Trek was very much about cutting costs wherever they could. They weren't going to change the intro if they could not spend that money.
But, you say that. But Deep Space Nine and Voyager were all filmed and shot at the same time. Like, almost. Like, there was a time period where they were.
There was like 12 episodes.
That they were filmed and shot at the same time.
Oh, no, I meant there was like 12 episodes of Deep Space Nine where there was no other shows on.
Yeah. So
yeah, I know they were made at the same time, but like, still, like, they were all about cutting costs back then, so they're not going to change the thing. Deep Space Nine had writers and creators who, like, fought against the studio a lot more than Voyager did.
Even Discovery changes their intro.
Well, that's modern, though. Now Star Trek's like, oh yeah, let's spend all the money to make it look cool.
It is modern, but, you know.
In the 90s, it was like all about saving money wherever they could.
And I think last episode of our podcast, you even said that, what is it? My favorite Star Trek.
Next Generation?
No, Lower Decks.
Oh, what about Lower Decks?
Their intro changes.
Yeah, once again, that's modern Star Trek.
I know. And it is animation, so it is a little bit cheaper. But then going back to Voyager and staying with the animation theme, they haven't changed it on Prodigy.
Prodigy's only had one season.
So,
They haven't had a chance to change it.
But Lower Decks, they're changing it every episode.
That's because the writers on that show have a sense of humor.
Jonathan Frakes.
Well, he's not a writer.
I think he is one of them.
No, I don't think he writes on that show. I'm not even sure if he's directed any episodes of that because it's animation. I don't know if he does animation directing.
I don't know either. I'm going to Google it when we're done.
Yeah, me too, probably.
Speaking of Lower Decks, because we're getting way off the topic here.
We're so far off topic. We're just past the teaser.
Have you seen the trailer for Strange Worlds?
No, I don't watch the trailers for Star Trek. I know I'm going to watch it.
Did you see
I'll watch the episode.
Did you see the pictures of...
I saw the picture you tagged me on Facebook, and I was like, oh, dang, I'd rather see that in the episode.
It's going to be perfect.
I wonder how they're going to do it, though, because it has to be time travel, because, like, Strange New Worlds is pre-Kirk, and what's the other show? Lower Decks is, like, after Next Generation, so it's got to be time travel, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, it even shows Boimler, and what's her name? Mariner in their uniforms, the new uniforms, and the other characters in their old uniforms.
I like how they made it the same actors who voiced the characters.
Yeah, which is
I always like it when they do that.
Which I think they had that plan all along, because they made the characters look like the actors anyway.
Yeah, kinda.
You know? Anyway, Star Trek.
Yeah. Part of me was to be like, I would have liked to see them in Picard, but that last season was way too serious for that.
Picard was just serious altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, they could go to Discovery.
That would also be time travel to the future. I don't know. Strange New Worlds looks like it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I say that. I haven't watched a single trailer.
And Lower Decks is always good. So.
Lower Decks is always good.
That's why it's my favorite.
All right, so let's get back into this episode. This podcast is going to be so long.
Yeah, it's alright.
So we see the Enterprise and the cube floating in space. Seeing the Enterprise standing still feels weird. The fact that the starfield behind it is totally static and not moving at all doesn't help that. We get a captain's log that basically just reiterates everything that's already happened. And now we're in sickbay where we meet Dr. McCoy. And I want to talk a little bit about DeForest Kelley's casting because, oh my god, what it took to get him to finally land this role.
So I like talking about McCoy, but can we talk about the captain's log for a second?
Okay.
How you said that it just kind of reiterates the whole episode, the whole what's happened now.
Yeah.
That's what every single one of Kirk's captain logs does. There's never any new information in there. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
I've never noticed that. I'm sure I would notice that the farther we get into this podcast.
Anyway, go on.
So Gene Roddenberry wanted Kelly as the Doctor the whole time. He tried to get him cast as Dr. Boyce in The Cage, but the director said that he wanted John Hoyt. He tried to get him cast as Dr. Piper in Where No Man Has Gone Before, but the director of that episode wanted Paul Fix. So when the show was picked up for a series, Gene Roddenberry finally got DeForest Kelley cast as Dr. McCoy.
You know, if I was to watch this in the production order back in the 60s with no future knowledge of the show, I'd be like, hey, it's a new Doctor. I guess they rotate doctors like every episode.
Like Next Generation did with engineers in the first season.
Yes.
So many engineers.
Yeah.
I think I might have read somewhere that in the original series they were like, oh, we don't need an engineer. Of course you need an engineer. It's like one of the main roles you need for any Star Trek series. Next Generation tried to get by without having an engineer, and that didn't work.
And then they got the best engineer of them all.
They did get a good engineer.
Geordi LaForge.
Even Star Trek in the universe knows he's the best engineer. Like that scene in Picard Season 3 when Shaw's just gushing over Geordi LaForge being there.
Yeah. I mean, O'Brien's a good engineer.
He is a good engineer.
But he learned a lot from Geordi.
Yeah.
So, I mean, technically Data's good, but Data's also an android.
He is also an android.
So you
and
can't...
not an engineer.
Right. I mean, but he
not
could be.
Technically an engineer. But like, yeah.
Yeah.
He does a lot of engineering stuff.
So I'm going to not count Data in that.
Well, yeah.
Wesley was good, but he never took over that.
Well, yeah. Like, he never made it past Ensign. Okay, that's technically not true because he had that cameo in Nemesis where he was a lieutenant.
Which,
but yeah.
How? Since you want to talk about that. Like, because in canon, they've said multiple times that he is still traveling with the Traveler.
I am not going to sit here and try to argue that Nemesis makes sense.
So how is he a lieutenant? Because he gave up Starfleet. Like,
there was a cut scene where like he had some dialogue that explained that, but since that scene was cut, it's just not a thing anymore. And we saw in Picard that he's still a Traveler, so
yeah, how? Like, I guess we'll just save this for our Patreon account.
Or like when we finally get to Nemesis in 20 years.
Yep.
You like how I keep just adding years? I'm sure it won't take that long.
Eventually we'll start getting into Cheers and Frasier. The Cheers and Frasier theory.
A Cheers and Frasier. I'm telling you, that theory is crap. It doesn't make sense when you actually, like, dissect it.
Alright, I got this. Star Trek is actually an imaginary world that all the characters in Cheers and Frasier just imagines.
Yeah, David, that's television.
Yeah, we could do that. I don't know.
Star Trek is an imaginary world in real life.
Wait, I got it. Diane, Cheers, a couple episodes of Frasier. She almost married Frasier.
Yes.
Yes. So, she was a writer.
You're saying that she wrote Star Trek?
She wrote Star Trek and put the characters, like made the characters like her friends from Cheers. and from Frasier, the people that she's met in Frasier. Because all the people that are from Frasier that have been on Star Trek are the ones that she's met.
Are we sure about that? Are we sure none of those characters showed up after Diane left the series?
I'm 80% sure. Anyway, the original series.
We hope you guys enjoy our tangents. Anyways, Kirk is running on this odd piece of exercise equipment on the ceiling. McCoy has Kirk keep going even though he can see that the ship has an alert on. So why is it that everywhere else on the ship, the alarms are also making noise, but in sickbay, there's only a flashing light and no noise being made?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I like how McCoy's like, I hope it's not something too bad. Like,
keep running.
Yeah, like if the ship's going down, it'll be fine.
I like to think that McCoy just muted it in the sick bay. He made it to where you can't hear a red alert. Kirk notices the alert, goes to a monitor, and contacts the bridge. Spock brings Kirk up to speed, shows him the cube, and the music from before starts playing, which has me thinking, is the cube playing the music? Can they actually hear the music in the show? Because the cube comes on Kirk's little screen and you hear the music with it.
I don't know.
So Kirk's pissed that McCoy didn't tell him about the alert. McCoy doesn't care because he got the physical done. And as Kirk leaves, McCoy says, "What am I, a doctor or a moon shuttle conductor?" Do you think McCoy would make a good moon shuttle conductor?
Yeah, I think he would. I think McCoy would make a good whatever he wanted to be.
Our new segment, would McCoy make a good I'm a doctor, not a?
We have so many segments.
We've got two. Alright, so Kirk makes his way to the turbo lift, starts to head to the bridge. I like the handle you have to turn in the turbo lift. That's a cool prop.
Yeah, I've liked it. But it's always bothered me how that works.
It's future technology.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the last episode had that handle.
No, I don't think it did either.
I think it's a good piece of set design. Kirk contacts Spock on the bridge. During their conversation, they decide that since there hasn't been any indication of danger, Kirk will change before heading to the bridge. This is also the moment that I noticed that Spock says negative a lot in this episode.
Really?
He says it a lot.
Huh.
We cut to the bridge where Spock is tapping a red light on Bailey's console and telling him that all decks have reported green. God dang it, Bailey.
Why is he looking at a red light and saying that all decks have reported green?
Because Bailey still has it set that we've reported red, but they've all reported green, so Bailey hasn't changed the thing like he's supposed to. He's being he's telling Bailey, get on it, dude.
Oh.
So Bailey's supposed to change the light to green.
Oh, I thought the light automatically changed to green. I was
Bailey's just not doing his job.
I was like, someone needs to change the light color because apparently they have a red light that means green. I'm confused there.
Yeah, but Spock starts to tell him that the captain will expect a full report, but Bailey interrupts him. Bailey sucks, dude.
Yeah.
That's my actual note. Bailey sucks. Then Bailey tries to get smart with Spock and says that the reason he raised his voice earlier is because he has an adrenaline gland, to which Spock replies, "It does sound most inconvenient. However, have you considered having it removed?" Naturally, Sulu laughs and gives the solid advice not to enter a battle of wits with Spock.
I mean, I think the only one that could enter a battle of wits with Spock, I think there'd be two people in Starfleet. Let's stick with just in Starfleet. Data and Michael Burnham.
You missed the one who always enters battles of wits with Spock and sometimes wins.
You're thinking Kirk?
Yes.
No.
McCoy. Kirk and McCoy. Those are the two who can battle wits with Spock.
His sarcastic comments just ends the whole thing every time.
Well, yeah.
And I don't think... I think Spock lets Kirk win.
Nah.
Yeah. Yes.
Michael Burnham.
His sister.
That was such a dumb plot point. Spock doesn't need a long-lost sister.
Yeah, he does.
Then we have a quick scene in Kirk's quarters. He calls Spock and asks the basics. Any life signs? No. Tried all hailing frequencies? Yes. Have the senior staff meet me on the bridge. Already here.
Yet there
Spock's
are
on the ball.
no senior staff there. Did you notice that?
What do you mean?
There was, like, you know how every other time there's been, like, 4 or 5 people there? The other one that was there was Scotty. Like, McCoy wasn't even there.
Oh, you mean before this?
Yeah. Like, senior staff.
Well, yeah, we're going to have the meeting with the senior staff after this scene.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I got confused there.
Yeah, Kirk's in his quarters at this point. So he's going to go to the bridge and they're going to be there.
I thought he was already on the bridge.
Now he's in his quarters changing because he was doing exercise on the ceiling.
Right.
Okay, technically it was a wall, but it's still a weird piece of exercise equipment.
I think it'd be a good piece of exercise equipment.
I mean, it looks cool. Alright, so we're back on the bridge. Kirk enters from the turbo lift. Spock reports that it's solid, but we have no idea what it's made out of. Uhura is getting no messages from it. We learn that the cube is currently 1,593 meters from the Enterprise. Each edge is 107 meters, and it's about 11,000 tons.
11,000 tons.
That's a big cube.
And it regenerates itself. And the only message they keep getting is resistance is futile.
Prepare to be assimilated. Our chief engineer, Lieutenant Commander Scott, has absolutely no clue how this thing could possibly work. Bailey votes we blast it, and Kirk has to remind him that it's not a democracy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Since when did this ship become a... Or no, what did he say? He said, when we decide the ship is a democracy, we'll make sure your vote is that.
Yeah.
Or something like that. That was
I'll
my
keep
favorite.
that in mind when the ship becomes a democracy.
Yes, I'll keep that in mind when this ship becomes a democracy. That's how Cal runs this podcast.
That is not how I run this podcast. Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
In the next captain's log, we learn that there's no habitable planets nearby, and they've been stuck here for 18 hours. The senior staff and Bailey are in the briefing room. Spock believes that the cube is either a space buoy or a cosmic flypaper, and Spock thinks they should leave so that they don't appear weak. Kirk starts to give Bailey an order, but instead of waiting for the order, he just immediately starts to give orders to the phaser gun crew. Oh my god, Bailey is the worst. Bailey is the worst. Kirk does put him in his place, though.
But how many times can you put him in his place before you send him to the brig? Like, if he was on Picard's Enterprise, he'd be gone.
Maybe.
Or Janeway's, he'd be...
I don't know. I feel like Tom Paris got away with a lot before they sent him to the brig.
Yeah, but that was Tom Paris. And Tom Paris was actually... I don't know. He was better than this.
He was better than this.
Like, this Bailey guy...
Tom Paris gets a bad rap.
He would have been sent to the... what was the lower area where that one guy would hang out?
What one guy?
Oh, on Enterprise, he was a Maquis, and no one would see him for like a year. He worked by himself, and then Janeway went down to find him. And
the episode of Voyager where they tried to like recreate Lower Decks, but didn't do it as good.
Yeah.
Send him down there.
Janeway would send him down there.
So Kirk's actual order is to plot a spiral course to try to pull away from the cube.
A spiral course. You know, because...
a barrel roll.
Because... I hope you insert that. Do a barrel roll. It's not like they're in space or anything where they can go up or down or any direction they wanted to.
Yeah, they don't realize that till Wrath of Khan.
Do they even realize that in Next Generation?
I think they do. They have to at some point. Dang, now I wish I didn't tell you that I could insert clips into the podcast.
Oh yeah, because I'm going to be like, you can do this.
Do a clip of this, do a clip of this. Alright, so we go to the bridge. Kirk tells Sulu to engage, and we start at quarter speed. I'm going to point out every time someone says engage who's not Picard.
That's another one.
Alright, yeah, so we start at a quarter speed. The cube's still there, so they try half speed. Alarms start going off. Spock tells us that radiation is increasing. Kirk orders the ship to stop. Bailey's freaking out and says that the cube's still coming at us. So they try half speed again. The cube starts spinning faster. It looks kind of cool when the cube spins faster.
Yeah.
Radiation is still increasing. The cube's still gaining, so they try full speed. That doesn't work, so they go to warp 1, warp 2, warp 3. They just can't outrun it. Now the radiation has increased to lethal levels. The cube's still coming. Kirk orders to fire phasers. They destroy the cube, and there's a massive shockwave affecting the whole ship. And that is the end of Act 1.
You know, in the original series, they don't seem to be as worried about the radiation levels as any other series.
They're worried about it. Like, that's why they destroyed the thing, so they didn't die of radiation.
Like, Next Generation, you would have already had Crusher, like, yelling at Picard to get out of there because the radiation level was high. I mean, not yelling, but she'd be like, the radiation level's high.
I mean, that's what Spock's doing here.
Yeah, but he's like, it's high. Not really saying, we need to get out of here.
I mean, yeah, I feel like he was being loud in that scene, being like, the radiation levels near lethal levels. Now it is lethal levels. And that's when Kirk destroys the thing.
Okay. Didn't Bailey hesitate on that?
Bailey did hesitate on that.
Okay, I remember that. Because I'm like, Bailey, you should be on this. You wanted to destroy them multiple times. You should be like, your hand should be on that trigger. Like, you should be like, bam.
Act 2 opens with a captain's log. Basically, Kirk has a decision to make. Turn back or keep going. Kirk and Spock have a conversation about what they might find out there if they keep going.
Has it occurred to you that there's a certain inefficiency in constantly questioning me on things you've already made up your mind about?
It gives me emotional security.
That's funny.
So Kirk decides we're going to keep going, but he's also decided that the bridge crew perform less than exemplary.
Bailey.
During the last emergency, so Kirk orders Sulu and Bailey to program a series of battle drills and repeat the exercise until they get it right.
Why Sulu? Sulu did it perfectly.
Kirk doesn't think so.
What does Kirk know?
A lot. He's the captain.
He doesn't even realize Spock is letting him win.
Spock's not letting him win.
Yes.
Alright, so McCoy doesn't like this plan. Kirk and McCoy enter the turbolift, and I think this is where we get our first Kirk versus McCoy argument. McCoy is arguing that the crew is tired and they need rest, especially after what they just went through with the cube. And here we start this good bit where Kirk says that McCoy always says something, and McCoy says that he never says that. In this case, it's a little suffering is good for the soul. We start hearing Bailey's voice over the intercom during the simulated attack, and McCoy mentions that he's really worried about Bailey. Navigation is a tough spot for an experienced officer, and Bailey's been promoted too fast. Kirk says he'll be fine, but McCoy thinks Kirk just promoted him because he reminds him of himself. Ironically, when we get a regular navigator on the show in season 2, it's an even younger character.
But at least he actually knows what he's doing.
Chekhov does know what he's doing.
And he's not scared. Like, he is not scared. You can, yeah. He's like, let's kill him.
Good old Chekhov.
Let's make some shirts for that. Let's kill him. And
let's kill
Chekhov.
him. Chekhov saying, let's kill him.
Yes.
I don't think he's ever actually said that.
Well, he says it now. That's going to be on our merch store. At insert merch store ad here.
I can't do that. We don't have a merch store yet.
I know.
Alright. We're in Kirk's quarters now. We can hear Bailey in the background going through the simulation. And Kirk and McCoy are still having the conversation about how hard he's pushing the crew until Spock calls the captain and reports that the crew's operating at 94%. Kirk says, let's make it 100. McCoy asks what he's going to do with that 6% when he gets it. And just before Kirk can finish his comeback, we meet Janice Rand.
Kirk sounds like Picard.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, the engine efficiency's 98%? Why is it not 100?
Yeah, except now we're talking about people.
Yeah.
Alright, so Rand walks in, and this is a good bit of comedy in the episode. She brings Kirk his lunch. When Kirk lifts the lid, he's surprised that it's greens. I would have a reaction like that if someone brought me a plate of greens. I agree with Kirk.
What did he say? I don't remember this part.
He's just surprised that he has, like, greens on his plate. Like, it's just all lettuce.
Huh. He seems like a meat eater.
Yeah. I don't remember the exact line. It turns out McCoy ordered that the captain's meals be changed. Kirk tries to get back at him by ordering a plate for the doctor, but McCoy comes back with, no, I never eat until the crew eats. And Rand is dismissed. Does that remind you of summer camp at all?
Yeah.
Alright, then we get some of that classic Star Trek sexism. Kirk is mad that he was assigned a female yeoman, and McCoy makes a joke about Kirk wanting to sleep with her, and Kirk dodges that topic by saying that the only female he wants to worry about is the Enterprise. Bailey gives one last order for the simulation, then we hear Sulu's voice ordering the crew to battle stations. This is not a drill.
At least Kirk knows that females are on his ship. Instead of like Pike be like, I'm not used to females here.
Yeah, at least Kirk has females on the bridge.
Yeah.
So Kirk's just a little sexist.
Just a little.
He just doesn't want a female as his secretary.
Yeah, which is weird in itself.
And in the Navy, like, yeomans were dudes back in the day, like on ships, because, you know, submarines, it's all dudes.
Huh. But
I know that through my dad and his constantly watching Jag when I was a kid. If I was ever going to do a podcast with my dad, it'd be like Jag and NCIS.
Really?
Only way to get me to watch those shows again.
You want to do a podcast on Jag and NCIS?
I'd never get my dad to do a podcast. You kidding me? Anyways, on the bridge, Spock is telling us that we have no visuals yet, but according to sensors, the object is much larger than the cube. On the view screen, we start to make out a circle in the distance. They're slowing down, preparing for evasive action when they're grabbed by a tractor beam. We can see the orb clearer now. Kirk orders the ship to stop and phasers to be ready.
Arm the torpedoes!
We get a shot in space of the Enterprise compared to the orb, and the other ship is absolutely massive. Like, it's like a little Enterprise, big old orb.
Yeah.
It's actually a cool shot.
I don't remember that shot. It's like a little Matchbox car and a giant basketball.
Kinda, yeah.
Oh, it's a Borg sphere.
See, but the Borg, the spheres were smaller than the cubes. So this is the reverse of that.
Yeah.
But now that just adds to our theory that the Borg assimilated Baylock. They took his orb and his cube.
Yeah.
It turns out Spock's computers can't even calculate the other ship's mass. Kirk orders Bailey to reduce the image so that they can see the whole thing. Bailey's frozen, so Sulu reaches over him and just does it himself. They have to zoom out twice before they can actually see the thing. It's so big.
Only twice?
Only twice.
Not 10 times or 100 times?
That's just twice.
Weird.
Kirk has Uhura hail them. He says this is the United Earth ship Enterprise.
Yeah, that was really weird.
So the Federation clearly isn't a thing yet in the writers' minds.
Even though canon, it is.
Well, in canon it is, but like that's stuff they made up later.
Yeah.
Right now, clearly they're just like the Enterprise is an Earth thing.
Okay, I'm not gonna touch the fact that there's a Vulcan on the ship.
He's half human. Vulcan's clearly like close to Earth, and like they're clearly peaceful. So there's like one Vulcan on the ship of a crew of human.
Okay.
It makes sense when you think about it. Alright, and so Kirk peacefully greets the other ship. We don't hear any response, but Bailey starts to hear something through his earpiece. To which I have to ask, why is Bailey wearing an earpiece?
You know,
it's like an earpiece like ours.
I was wondering that too. I was like, why is he listening all of a sudden? Like the entire episode, he has no earpiece, and then all of a sudden he does.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Alright, turns out there's a message coming over the navigation beam, so Uhura switches it over so we can hear.
And trespassed into our star systems. This is Baylock, commander of the flagship Visarius of the First Federation. Your vessel, obviously the product of a primitive and savage civilization, having ignored a warning buoy and having then destroyed it, has demonstrated your intention is not peaceful. We are now considering the disposition of your ship and the life aboard.
Do you think that the United Federation of Planets came from the writers thinking that the First Federation sounded cool?
Maybe.
Because that's something I thought of in this episode, because they kept saying First Federation. I was like, that sounds like the United Federation.
Yeah, they used Federation a lot, didn't they?
Yeah.
Federation.
We are the United Federation of Podcasters. But yeah, First Federation sounds cool. Kirk kills them again and tells Baylock that they didn't know that the cube was a warning buoy. He's cut off by a really loud, jarring static sound. It's the Viserys' sensor probes. Baylock says he won't accept any more communication, and if they do anything hostile, they'll be destroyed. Baylock also starts shutting down the ship's systems, and Spock is way too impressed.
Yes, he is.
Kirk and Spock decide to launch their own warning buoy, but when they launch it, there's this big shockwave that affects the whole ship. We hear Baylock again, and he tells us that not only did he destroy the recorder, but now you have to be destroyed. I'll give you 10 minutes to pray to any gods you have. 10 minutes. That's a short time.
Yeah, or a long prayer. Either way.
Spock starts working at his station to see if he can get an image of the alien. McCoy and Scotty enter the bridge.
Oh, can I say this part that you're coming up to, starting right here? It seems like they're under something.
What do you mean?
Like, Spock just starts doing random stuff, and Kirk starts to kind of go crazy a little bit. And Bailey's just doing whatever. Like, everybody on the bridge is just kind of like, they're just going crazy. Like, it seems like they're under some kind of mind control or
just stress.
Or they're being drugged or something. Like, it seemed very out of place in this episode.
And this is a good time to point out our sponsor, BetterHelp. That's a joke. We don't have sponsors.
Not yet.
They're under stress. So this is the first scene where McCoy is wearing his standard Starfleet uniform and not that short sleeve medical shirt. So now we know that McCoy is a lieutenant commander. McCoy tells us the whole ship heard Baylock's message.
Yeah.
Kirk then addresses the crew over the intercom and gives a pretty good Kirk speech.
Captain to crew, those of you who have served for long on this vessel have encountered alien life forms. You know the greatest danger facing us is ourselves. An irrational fear of the unknown. But there's no such thing as the unknown. Only things temporarily hidden, temporarily not understood. In most cases, we have found that intelligence, capable of a civilization, is capable of understanding peaceful gestures. Surely a life form advanced enough for space travel is advanced enough to eventually understand our motives. All decks, stand by. Captain out.
Kirk hails the ship again, tries to explain they're peaceful and willing to turn around and leave, but he's cut off by this loud hum. So Kirk orders Bailey to plot a course ahead. Bailey's just out of it, so Celio reaches over him and does it himself. They try warp, nothing happens. They try impulse, nothing happens. All engines and weapons are dead now. We cut to a shot of Spock and McCoy has magically changed into his short sleeve shirt again. Spock has gotten a visual on Baylock. We see on the view screen a green skinned alien with a big head, kind of the classic alien look. Baylock says they're wasting time and they have 8 minutes left.
I feel like they reused this alien somewhere later on in the series.
I do know that the alien appeared at the end of the credits for a lot of the show.
That might be what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because I heard that it traumatized many a child while watching the credits of Star Trek. Alright, and here is where Bailey has a total meltdown. It is a good acting performance, though. I have to give him that.
He's terrible. Bailey's terrible. The actor's terrible.
The actor's not terrible.
Whole episode is terrible.
I don't understand this. Spock's wasting time. Everybody else just sitting around. Somebody's got to do something.
Easy, Bailey.
What do they want from us? Let's find out what they want us to do.
They want us to lose our heads,
We've
Bailey,
only
now.
got 8 minutes left.
7 minutes and 41 seconds.
He's doing a countdown.
Practically end of watch.
What are you all out of your minds? End of watch? It's the end of everything. What are you, robots? Wound up toy soldiers? Don't you know when you're dying? Watch and regulations and orders. What do they mean?
Bailey, you're relieved.
Also, during the freakout, McCoy magically changes shirts back into his normal shirt.
I don't think anybody noticed that.
Okay, so Kirk makes another attempt to reason with Baylock. He tries explaining that the cube was giving off lethal radiation and destroying it was an act of self-preservation, but Kirk is cut off again by another loud hum, and all Baylock says is, "You now have 7 minutes left." And that is the end of Act 2.
The end of Act 2.
Sulu updates us on the remaining time, 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and Scotty responds by saying, "You have an annoying fascination for timepieces, Mr. Sulu," which is just a great line.
Yeah, it is.
Kirk and Spock have a conversation about the situation. They can't figure out what's wrong. Baylock has to know the Enterprise means them no harm. He definitely knows they can't do them any harm. There has to be something they've overlooked. And Spock compares their situation to chess. When one is outmatched, the game is over. Checkmate. Kirk's mad that that's all that Spock has. Spock almost says he's sorry, but stops himself and says something much more Vulcan-like.
I mean, honestly, if it was Michael Burnham instead of Spock, they'd already be out of this mess.
You are so full of crap.
Yeah, whatever. We all have our own opinions.
I can't believe you just said that.
I'm joking.
McCoy enters. He starts talking to Kirk about Bailey's situation in hushed tones so the crew doesn't hear. McCoy wants to diagnose Bailey with fatigue in his medical records, but Kirk says, "That's my decision, doctor," which I don't think that it is Kirk's decision. That very much sounds like the decision a chief medical officer makes.
Can I say, what, now they have 3 minutes left before the ship gets destroyed?
4:30.
And McCoy's over there worrying about putting someone in bed rest for fatigue. Like, there's more important things to do, McCoy. And you're arguing with the captain about it. Like, why? Why?
I mean, it is Star Trek. They're probably in one of these situations every week.
No, they haven't been so far.
Well, yeah, this is the first regular episode after the pilot.
Yeah.
McCoy points out that Kirk pushed Bailey too hard, overworked him, and expected too much, and that's why this happened. Kirk tries ordering him to drop it, which also doesn't sound like a thing Kirk can do.
Yeah.
Then McCoy calls Kirk on his crap. He's going to report that he warned Kirk about Bailey's condition, and he's not bluffing. Kirk gets angry and starts to yell his next line, but then Kirk realizes he and Baylock aren't playing chess. They're playing poker.
I mean, I was already like, he's playing poker, dude, not chess.
Alright, so Kirk has Uhura hail the ship and then pulls out the Corbomite Maneuver.
Which I cannot spell, by the way.
I noticed in your text.
Yeah.
It was always something different.
I always just make up random words until I get something.
Alright,
Kobayashi Maru.
Kobayashi Maru.
This is the captain of the Enterprise. Our respect for other life forms requires that we give you this warning. There's one critical item of information that has never been incorporated into the memory banks of any Earth ship. Since the early years of space exploration, Earth vessels have had incorporated into them a substance known as Corbomite. It is a material and a device which prevents attack on us. If any destructive energy touches our vessel, a reverse reaction of equal strength is created, destroying...
You now have 2 minutes.
Destroying the attacker. It may interest you to know that since the initial use of Corbomite, more than 2 of our centuries ago, no attacking vessel has survived the attempt. Death has little meaning to us. If it has none to you, then attack us now. We grow annoyed at your foolishness.
I like how he actually did pause there for the "you now have 2 minutes." Like any other Star Trek, like a newer Star Trek, would have just kept going and just went like louder. Like like if it was Michael Burnham, she would have been like just started like pretty much yelling at.
She would have been all like Bailey, like, shoot him now, blow him out of the sky.
Yeah. Sorry if you don't
Discovery.
realize that I'm fixated on her today. I'm staring at my Funko Pop of Michael Burnham.
Yeah, I'm just glad you're not like fixated on the Olaf one next to her. Alright, so everyone pauses for a moment, but there's no response. Spock brings up that Balok reminds him of his father, and if that's true, Scotty feels sorry for his mother, and this is where we learn that Spock's mother is human. So in Where No Man Has Gone Before, when he says that one of his ancestors married a human female, he was talking about his dad. Technically one of his ancestors, but, you know.
And he has a human sister. This is actually like Michael Burnham, like, yeah.
Stop it. Kirk starts to apologize for arguing with McCoy, which he should. McCoy was totally right. But McCoy stops him and says that it was all his fault, which it's not. They have 1 minute left. Bailey walks onto the bridge and requests to return to his post. Kirk grants it, which probably isn't the best command decision. But hey, we're all about to die anyway. The time runs out and nothing happens. Balok kills the Enterprise. The Enterprise's destruction has been delayed, but he wants proof of the Corbomite. Kirk has Uhura wait before responding so that he can sweat it out. And then flat out says no. Spock brings up Balok's face again. Turns out Balok allowed Spock to see his face to please his curiosity.
You know, at the point where the ship doesn't get destroyed is when I realized that no, they aren't messing with the Borg.
That's when.
Because I mean, you know, if it was the Borg, that ship would have been destroyed. There probably wouldn't have been even a 10-minute countdown. The Borg would have already started boarding and already would have captured everybody.
Fair, that's fair.
Yeah.
Rand walks under the bridge carrying coffee. Even though the kitchen has no power, she used a hand phaser to warm up the coffee.
And then nobody wants the coffee.
Star Trek 6 is making more sense all of a sudden.
Why?
Because they have that scene where there's like a locker of phasers in the kitchen. And they like vaporize a pan with it. Also, Rand is great comedic relief in this episode.
Yeah.
She's really good in this episode.
Yeah.
We see a smaller ship detached from the orb. Their plan is to tractor beam the Enterprise to a planet that can sustain them and destroy the Enterprise. And that is the end of Act 3.
Woo! Act 5.
4.
Act 6.
Dork.
Captain's log, stardate 1514.1. The Enterprise is in tow. To this point, no resistance has been offered. My plan? A show of resignation. Balok's tractor beam has to be a heavy drain of power on a small ship. Question, will he grow careless?
Yes.
So Kirk's kind of just waiting Balok out at this point, looking for an opening to try to get out of this. Bailey notices that Balok's ship has gotten a little farther away, and Spock informs us that his power's gone down a bit. And Sulu verifies that speed's gone down too, so Kirk's gonna use this. The plan is to try to fly away from Balok at maximum acceleration to tear themselves out of the tractor beam. Kirk says engage, and they do the thing. They're overloading the engines. Temperatures increasing, it gets up to 8,000 degrees. The ship is visibly shaking. The crew...
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, we keep cutting to a bunch of extras in a hallway, just awkwardly pretending to fall back and forth in the hallway.
I think they used that cut for the rest of the season.
Maybe. Spock says that they're 2,000 degrees above maximum temperature and it'll blow soon. They break free and then stop all engines. Scotty comes out of the turbo lift. He wants to stop here for a few hours to work on the engines, even though there's an enemy ship right in front of them. Scotty wants to stop for a couple hours.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like, Scotty's like, okay, we're done. Fight. Let's go ahead and stop.
No, we're not done with the fight. Uhura then picks up a signal. It's a distress signal from Balok, but it's too weak to make it back to the orb.
If you noticed in that scene, even Kirk was like, looked at Scotty and was like, really? Did you just say that?
Kirk decides to mount a rescue mission. Everyone's surprised, including Spock and McCoy. The away team will be Kirk, McCoy, and Bailey. Spock wants to go, but the Enterprise will need its first officer if it's a trap.
It's a trap.
Dang, I was trying not to make that reference.
It's a trap.
We cut to the transporter room where Scotty is preparing to beam them over. Kirk walks in and asks if the transporter's ready. Scotty says yes, but it's a risk. He'll beam them to what appears to be the main deck. This reminds me of a scene of the 2009 movie when Scotty beams Kirk and Spock into what appears to be a cargo bay but ends up being the Romulan bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the away team step onto the transporter and Scotty tells them to bend down because their ship has low ceilings and he beams them away. And they rematerialize on Balok's ship. Kirk pulls out his phaser on Balok, but then realizes that it's a puppet.
It's a Muppet.
It's a Muppet.
Jim Henson was controlling it.
Maybe. Like Jim Henson might have made that thing. I don't know. We then hear a high-pitched voice, and then we see a bald kid just lounging in the next room. Turns out this was the real Balok. So Fred Phillips, the makeup artist on Star Trek, wanted to shave this kid's head.
Really?
But this kid and his dad had to be like, no, you're not shaving his head. So they put a bald cap on him.
Huh.
So yeah. Oh, also this kid, his brother directed the Han Solo movie.
That's what's wrong with him.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Do you not like Solo?
I don't.
I disagree.
But
that's okay.
Can disagree. You know, I like 90% of all the other Star Wars movies, but Solo. Like, it just didn't... It wasn't good.
I disagree, but that's okay. See, people can disagree on the internet and it be alright.
No. I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna take you out on this table. Like, okay, that sounded wrong. I'm gonna throw you through this table. There we go.
Alright, let's get back to the scene. So Balok's very welcoming. He asks them to sit, brings out some drinks. He calls Tranya. The Tranya was actually grapefruit juice, and Clint Howard absolutely hated grapefruit juice, but had to act like he loved the stuff. So, like, this was, like, the kid's hardest acting part in this episode, just drinking the stuff and enjoying it.
What? Why grapefruit juice? If he didn't like it, why didn't they just put something else?
He actually asked his dad if they could ask him to change it, and his dad, who was also an actor, was like, nah, consider it an acting challenge.
Huh.
So, yeah, the kid, like, tried to get it changed.
Huh. I mean, they easily could have.
Grapefruit juice apparently looks alien.
I mean, it's terrible.
I've never had it.
Don't.
I won't. Alright, so Kirk, McCoy, and Bailey hesitate. They don't want to drink it because it might be poisoned. Balok realizes this and drinks it himself to prove it's all good. Kirk asks about the puppet, and Balok says he uses it because they wouldn't be intimidated by an alien who looks like a child. And he's right.
Yeah.
And he also lets slip that the whole thing was just a test to see if they really did come in peace. We also learn that Balok doesn't have a crew, and it's all a one-man operation. He then just asks if Kirk will give up a crewman so that he won't be so lonely. Bailey volunteers, and Kirk probably thinking, awesome, Bailey sucks. And we end the episode with Balok giving them a tour of his ship.
You know, off recording, you and I already talked about this, but this episode, like, I felt like it was just a lot of, like, there was a good start, and I felt like there's a lot of nonsense in the middle, and then the ending was, like, part of the start, so I was very surprised when it just ended, like, just right there, just ended, done.
Just ended.
Like, I thought there was going to be way more to the story than that.
I mean, they only got an hour.
Which, to me, it felt like 20 minutes at most.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a good story. It was mainly about, like, the crew of the Enterprise, like, dealing with this threat and this situation and Bailey losing it.
Like, I think they should have cut Bailey. Like, they should not have hired that guy.
Oh,
They should
yeah?
not have wrote him in. They should have... Chekhov should be there. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, they needed someone to lose it, though.
They didn't. They could have wrote it without someone losing it.
I don't know. I think the whole Kirk pushing this kid too hard and this kid, like, losing it because of it, like, was, like, a solid storyline.
But when Kirk's like, oh, he reminds me of him, it's like, so you're a whiny baby?
I mean, Kirk doesn't say that. McCoy says that.
Well, yeah. So Kirk's a whiny baby?
Well, he wasn't a whiny baby yet.
That was my take on it.
That's your take on it?
Yeah.
All right. So join us next week when we talk about Mud's Women. I am sorry. This is going to be a rough one.
Oh, I'm going to have fun with that one.
All right. You can find me everywhere at Couch Talks Movies, except for Twitter, where movies is singular. David, tell the people where they can find you.
I am on TikTok at Commodore Moss. And also, I think that's all.
Don't you have a Twitch?
Yeah, I do, but I don't stream much.
Okay. You can find the show at Tomorrow Trek Pod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and at patreon.com/tomorrowisyesterday.
And I do have something for everybody. I have a question for our social media, so you can insert your answers there. Did Diana from Cheers write Star Trek after Cheers? Please leave your comments below in our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know what other social medias we have. Pinterest, TikTok, LinkedIn.
Sure, we totally have all of those.
So, and have a good day, and thanks for listening.
And until next time, live long and don't be a Bailey.
Yes.